Hey, thanks for tuning in to KSL Outdoors. I'm Adam Meikle along with Mickey Anderson from Fish Tech. We're actually at Fish Tech.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere in central Utah. I just found out you've never been before.
Never been to Otter Creek. I've always wanted to fish it. I've heard that there's some good fish. I hope we get some.
Yeah. And the ice is off here.
Good.
Coming off.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
I have no idea what to use. It's been a decade.
What if we try two different ways? What if we try an indicator and hang something, a midge or chironomid or a balanced leech, and then what if we cast and strip just our regular old buggers? I think we're gonna get them both.
There's my cup. Fill it up.
Fill it up? Yeah, this sounds expensive. I mean, buggers are always gonna work. Red's gotta be one of them for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple reds, midnight, and then the balanced leeches. These are what's fun, but now we gotta guess on the color. White, red, and black.
Probably a little bit of both, huh?
Yeah, that was my plan. And then let's get some chironomids. And the bobbers.
On the bobbers.
The indicators. These indicators are a pop-off indicator that'll slide up and down on your line.
I don't know how to rig that.
So what you're gonna do, you're gonna pass the line right through the center of this. And you can see it'll slide up and down. Now we're gonna take this pin out.
Pick the depth you want.
Correct. Pinch it, drop it back in place. Now it's set, you can cast it, but if it's deeper than the length of the rod, you're not gonna be able to land it unless this pops free.
So when you hit the fish,
It pops off.
it pops off.
Yeah, it stays on your line so you don't lose it.
So Mick, some of these guys are going to be bringing their spinning rods as well. What do you think?
I don't know, I'm thinking like little plastic jigs, little crystal bullet, and you gotta have
Marabous.
regular old marabou, black marabou.
Never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we're ready to go. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
Otter Creek Reservoir and State Park is about 200 miles south of the Wasatch Front, just north of the small, quaint town of Antimony.
This is one of our most popular waters in southern Utah, and it actually draws people from all over the state and even southern Nevada, southern California, just to fish for rainbows. Part of the reason is the access is real easy, but really it comes down to the rainbow trout grow really fast in here. We have some really high quality fish, and fishing rates are usually really good throughout the year.
We haven't been here 10 minutes, and my buddy Travis has a big buck bow on a marabou jig.
You got to be kidding me. 4 pounds. 6. Dude, I don't have a big enough net.
You want to weigh it?
Holy cow. Travis? This is probably 6, 7.
That is a giant rainbow.
Look how thick he is. Dude, that is got to be one of the biggest rainbows you've ever caught, isn't it?
It's pushing probably the biggest rainbow I've ever caught. My second trip to Otter Creek, ever. Brandon told me he wanted to smoke some fish, but I think we're gonna have to let this one go.
He's too big and pretty, isn't he?
Yeah, it's gorgeous fish.
Oh my goodness. What are you using there?
Just caught it on a simple marabou jig, not tipped with anything.
Oh, you got to show us that fish. Look at that.
Not bad for the first fish of the morning. It's worth the drive to the old Otter Creek Reservoir in southern Utah.
Oh my goodness.
So that's 3-4 pounds anyways.
Travis was being a little conservative on his fish's weight, so we broke out a scale.
7 pounds, 8 ounces.
You're kidding me. Just a baby.
Just a pup.
Good job, dude. When I saw you hook
I
it.
knew it was a good fish, but I didn't really know how big it was.
Yeah.
All right, give me a marabou, Travis.
Oh my goodness.
We hear of a few 6-pound plus rainbows each year. 7.5 is bigger than most of the ones I hear of, so that's a really impressive fish. We see some really fast growth. We stock
Just started to strip it in, you grabbed it.
7-inch rainbows every year. By the following spring, they're about 10 to 12 inches. And then another year, they're about to 18 inches.
Healthy.
Looks like about a 16-inch fish. Good thick fish.
What'd you get him on, Mick?
On a brown balanced leech.
Tuna. Little shout out for Carly there.
Is that your daughter's thing?
Yeah. Every time she hooks one, she yells tuna. Boy, they've been coming in waves. They'll come in and
everybody will get tapped, and then we'll go through a dry spell. Whoa, he's not done.
This might be one of the better fish of the day. Might push 3.5, 4.
I'm gonna go out and say this is the biggest one on a fly rod today.
Yeah.
Most people fishing here are targeting rainbows and catching rainbows, but we also have a few other species. We have smallmouth bass, keep themselves going with a wild population. Their numbers aren't really high, but we also stock wipers, and we stock those specifically to eat Utah chubs, which can be a problem in this reservoir, and they've grown really well. We've seen wipers up to 8 pounds in here.
Come on, buddy. Oh, yeah!
That's a big fish.
Toad!
We also stock some brown trout. They aren't caught very often, but we have seen brown trout over 10 pounds in here caught before.
What a beautiful fish.
That's pretty cool.
He's got to be pushing 4.
Big. I'll tell you that much. I'll give you a length.
Ah!
It's all right.
There he goes. That was awesome fish.
We did an angler survey back in 2016, and we found that about 90% of the anglers fishing here that we interviewed were using bait, and over about almost 70% were using only bait. That's all they were fishing with.
This fish has got some power.
We're trying to, get the word out to a few more folks. This is a good place to come and fly fish or fish with lures. It's also very effective. It's just, power bait's really effective for rainbow trout.
So Travis, my buddy, actually told me that last fish he caught was a little deeper in the column. So all I did was adjust that slider indicator that Mickey showed you earlier on in the show and slid it down to about 9 feet and first cast out. So the fish are definitely a little deeper than I've been fishing. So this is a good one. Sweet, thanks, sir.
You need a bigger net.
I do need a bigger net.
Nice fish.
Yeah, he's good looking. Good tank. That's what makes Otter Creek so special. It's just a fat, healthy fish. They put up a good fight, and they're pretty aggressive this time of year. And like Mike was saying, this is a pretty popular fishery. And he calls most of the time people call it a put and take fishery. He calls it a put, grow, and take because they do so well here.
Fun to catch. There's not a lake like it, man. All the fish are big, and when it gets hot, it gets hot.
Jared and his buddies have made the drive down and say ice off at Otter Creek is something they try and hit every year.
Yeah, you can get away from people and come down here and have it to yourself. So,
Well, how are you guys catching them today?
we're catching them on our fly rod. We run a bigger fly on our top, followed with a small trailer, different midges and stuff. So.
Fish!
Nice. Good size? Oh yeah, it's good fish. You're whacking them now.
Just a beautiful, healthy rainbow. Start the morning off, first fish of the day, with a 7+ pound fish, and these smaller ones don't seem near as big. Still just a beautiful, probably a 18-inch, 2.5, 3 pound fish. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Let them go, and we'll try to catch them again next year.
The main thing about Otter Creek is it can do really well anytime we have good water levels. The water users do a great job of trying to maintain enough water in here, even during drought years, to make sure that we can maintain the fishery.
He was faking that he was a little one. Oh, he's walking all over the water.
Better get your drag set. Very next cast.
Very next cast.
No, I think it's the same fish.
That's a hard fighter.
Soak my glasses.
Travis has not only caught the biggest fish today, but also the most. He's throwing this simple marabou jig.
How are you fishing it?
Just popping it back, kind of letting it sink down, trying different water columns. Earlier this morning, it seemed like that 4 to 6 foot range is kind of where the fish were at most active. It's where I did catch that big 7+ pound fish. This fish is a little deeper. It seems like I'm trying to work that 6 to 8 foot range now, maybe even closer to 10 foot range, and that one walloped it, so I was lucky and got it in.
So we've got a lot of places nearby to fish. For other lakes nearby, there's Coucherum Reservoir, Fish Lake isn't too far away. And then for rivers nearby, the East Fork of the Sevier River in both Kingston Canyon and Black Canyon has good populations of brown trout. Some of them can get pretty big. The majority of Kingston Canyon actually has public access. A good portion is actually Division of Wildlife Management areas. There's quite a bit of that in there. There's a little bit of BLM land that's also publicly owned. But then also there's a significant stretch of private water that's open through the walk-in access program.
Feels like an 8 trap. I get 2 4s, does that equal 8?
Oh, wow. Took the chronomid, huh?
Yep.
Powerful. Wow, it's a tank.
Oh my gosh. This is why they say this is the best rainbow fishery in the state. Look at these guys. Get in there!
Fold him in half.
Bigger net! Yeah. Finally. Whew. Wow. Another solid. He's got to be 4 plus.
Well, thanks for coming out. That was fun, and thanks for gearing me up. That was chronomid. I had one on a chronomid and
good.
one on the
leech.
on the balanced leech. Yeah, it's a good technique. I've never really done a lot of, so works good down here.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, if you want to come down here and fish Otter Creek, stop by, see Mickey and the guys at Fish Tech, get all geared up, get them ready to come down.
We'll get you ready.
All right. Hey, I'm Adam Equal KSL Outdoors, reminding you out with your family, your friends. Make some memories outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.